New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
Well, good evening to everyone across the United States and also around the world. It is time once again for another thrill-packed, always fun, and guaranteed exciting edition of the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am the Reverend Michael Mangus, and I am in the Charles Fillmore secret radio room, surrounded by thousands, and I mean thousands of watts, in an extremely secure concrete bunker somewhere around Akron, Ohio, that is so top secret. It requires a high level of security to get into. And only one person outside of myself and Diana, only one person knows where it's located. Everyone else, especially my boss, the Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, who has another show coming on right after ours here on Positively Inspiring New Thought Media Network, where we can ask him anything. We should ask him where the concrete bunker is located. He has no clue of where it's located, and we are going to keep it that way. That's right. We need to come up with a question for him, Jeff, since he said, ask me anything. Well, we do have a wonderful show for you this evening. Please feel free to interact with us by posting your comment either on Facebook or YouTube. And again, I know, well, you shy people out there, you don't want to comment. I get it, because you really don't want people to know that you watch this show. I don't blame you. Just send me an email, pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com, pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. So the purpose of our fireside chat is to talk about contemporary issues from a New Thought perspective. And again, as I keep saying week after week, I want us all to have a new thought about what's going on in the world. And again, many people in New Thought and others are just hiding their head and saying, well, wake me up in 3 years or 3.5 years when all of this is over. Now is the time to at least take a look at this and say, okay, what is my part in bringing about peace and order that is beyond the chaos that's going on in the world? All right, once again, after being MIA last week, missing in action from the great state of Tennessee, originally from the great state of West Virginia, we have divine science minister and staff commentator, the Reverend Jeff Radcliff, who always has an interesting view on the news. Reverend Jeff, how are you this evening?
I'm all right. I'm chuckling over what she said about nobody wanted to own up to the fact that they like to watch the show. Because I can hear him say, the only reason I watch is for that gay fella. He's a hoot.
Well, you make things interesting, though.
I do try.
I know you do.
Now, as for asking Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski,
yes,
something.
Yeah.
Oh, you're opening up a whole can of worms there, because all the cool things that we could ask.
Well, okay. So first of all, you were missed last week, my friend.
Oh, really?
Even though
you didn't know I was gone. Even
though Reverend Dr. Raymond was absolutely wonderful. The email this week at pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com was blowing up my inbox, wondering, okay, where's Reverend Jeff? Did legal Reverend Dr. Robert, or they were blaming me for getting you fired?
Oh, really? Oh.
But most of the comments were, is Reverend Jeff okay? We miss him.
Yeah. I'm okay. Relatively speaking.
Even legal missed you last week.
That's because I didn't give him any reason to worry about F-bombs and who I was going to alienate.
Okay, so I get a call Friday afternoon on the hotline saying,
is that like the bat phone?
Yeah,
you have to tilt Shakespeare's head back and no, that was for the elevator or the bat pole, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, this is the
it's
red
been a while
phone.
since I've seen it.
It's the phone that used to glow red when we were in real radio.
Okay.
And we knew it was the program director or the owner.
Yeah.
Or both on the phone to chew us out. Well, I got a call last Friday from legal. And they're saying, where is Jeff's story of the week for them to review?
Right.
And I told them, I said that you were taking the week off. Mm-hmm. And they said, okay.
Time.
And guess what they did?
What?
They left early.
Oh, okay. I'm sure that they're they could use some time off for me time as well.
Right. So Fridays are usually pretty slow for our legal department. So,
well, I'm going to have to fix that.
Yeah. Well, rumor has it that they really like your stories of the week.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then issuing a decision on how many F-bombs you can use that week.
Okay.
And I heard that you have competition now.
Oh, really?
From Reverend, I was going to say Reverend 47. He's not Reverend 47. From
just plain.
I say Reverend a lot. From our president, Donald J. Trump.
He ain't my president. I'm just saying.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, what we're going to have here at the bottom of the hour, the award-winning and very popular.
Now here's Reverend Jeff Radcliff with the story of the week.
I love that. I love that echo.
Thanks, Tom Daniels from tomdanielsvoice@gmail.com. And yes, I saw him this week at our radio professionals group.
Cool.
And he said, first thing he said was, where's my energy drinks? Because I promised him a case of energy drinks.
Yeah, you bribed him.
Well, I bought him.
You don't use the B word, right?
Payola?
No, the B word, the bribe.
Oh, bribe. Oh, okay.
We don't use that word. Okay.
All right. Can you believe it's July?
Almost.
Yeah. So when I was a little radio nerd, listening to
now,
what now?
as opposed to now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I used to enjoy my first few weeks of summer vacation. And then the first day of July hit. And then I started to count down the days until I had to go back to school. Now, the only good part about July is that mid-month, the 2025 school supplies will go on sale. Now, anyone that knows me knows that I like my pens and markers a lot. And I have a friend of mine who goes ahead and puts my picture on one of those wanted posters and gives them to Walmart and to all the stores around here, saying, if this guy comes through and has any type of markers or any type of pens, please do not sell to him at all. He has plenty.
You need to tell Brzezinski to mind his own damn business. This is your, it's your pen fetish. You should go for it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, of course, again, there's also fireworks, but we're not going to go into that.
Oh, no.
I enjoy watching them. I don't enjoy paying for them, but I enjoy watching them.
I enjoy watching them. I don't enjoy hearing them because it means if I'm hearing them, Lily's hearing them, and it's like thunder. It drives her crazy. She does nothing but bark. It drives me nuts.
And so that's why I'm suggesting to all of you, if you live in a neighborhood with dogs, take the money that you would spend on fireworks and go buy some doggy treats.
Or Boone's Farm, whichever.
What now?
Or Boone's Farm, whichever.
Or Boone's Farm. Did dogs like Boone's Farm?
I don't know. I don't think she would. She's got higher refinement.
Higher taste. All right. Let's take a deep breath in. Inhale. And exhale. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is time for the news. And now from the Spiritual News Network, I am Talking Head. Talking.
I just can't tonight.
Oh, yeah, and I like that because it's royalty free.
They're going back on tour, by the way.
What,
or at least
royalty free?
Or at least they're going to perform again.
Who, royalty free?
No, Talking Heads.
Oh, Talking Heads. Okay.
Don't you pay attention to the news? You don't read the right news.
I love the Talking Heads. They're great.
All right.
All right. Here we go. Your favorite part of the show.
Oh, Lord.
The news.
High blood pressure again.
All right. Did you take an extra blood pressure pill tonight?
Yeah.
You may need it. So this was the last day of the Supreme Court for this session, for this year, for this term. And boy, did they come out with some doozies today. The Supreme Court backed President Donald Trump's effort to curtail lower court orders that have hampered his agenda for months in a case related to his birthright citizenship order. The president applauded the court's ruling, saying that a whole list of his administration's policies can now move forward. The president has claimed that those courts and those rogue judges overstepped their power by handing down nationwide orders that temporarily blocked some of his agenda, including his controversial plan to effectively end birthright citizenship. Now, Jeff, I thought that we were going to take away all of his Sharpies.
He's like you. He goes out to Walmart and Target and all these places and buys more.
Do you think he goes on Amazon? Well, he loves Jeff Bezos.
Oh, well, yeah.
Ellie Honig, who is a former state and federal prosecutor, says it's now more burdensome for plaintiffs looking to challenge the Trump administration's policy. The bottom line takeaway from today, she said, right now, the presidency, forget about Donald Trump here, the presidency is far more powerful than it was at 9:55 a.m. this morning before the ruling came down. But the court, though, they left intact the ability of plaintiffs to get broad relief through class action lawsuits. Now, the Supreme Court majority largely glossed over the issue of birthright citizenship, handing that off to the lower court. So they're going to handle that the next term. What it focused on instead was eliminating a tool that both the conservative and liberal groups have used to pause policies from presidents of both parties. The nationwide or universal injunction. For Trump, though, this means that his opponents will have to jump through additional hoops to try to shut policies down on a nationwide basis. It won't be impossible to do so, but it will prove more difficult. Why don't these people see, or individuals see, that they're shooting themselves in the foot here? They're making the president more powerful. Democrat or Republican, doesn't matter. But they're making the office of president like, again, a kingdom or a dictatorship, in which, again, all the president has to do is get his pen out and go ahead and sign an executive order, and then he doesn't care. He has a get out of jail free card from the Supreme Court. Your comments, Reverend Jeff?
You know, I don't think that they totally understand what they're doing. It's like you said, they're shooting themselves in the foot, because they can get a ruling that favors them and they're going to jump up and down and be happy. But the wheel always turns. And pretty soon, Democrats are going to take over the House. They're going to take over the Senate. And the thing that they're using against the Democrats to boost themselves and to boost their president will eventually be used to boost the Democrats and the Democratic president, and will put them on the losing side of things. They just don't seem to understand that they're going to end up, eventually they're going to end up on the losing side, just like right now they're on the winning side. The wheel always turns, always balances itself out.
You're right. And I don't understand these Republicans, conservatives, who are happy about this. Because, again, as you said, it's going to turn towards them someday.
Yeah.
And we'd like to say hello to Tim Davison from my radio group. Hi, Tim. And he says he likes your story of the week, too.
I know. Isn't that cool?
And he said also, and he said, we are truly living in previously unimaginable crazy land. Absolutely.
Why did you pick that one? You should have went to the next one where he corrected his misspelling.
Oh, you mean unnerving?
Yeah. Well, that too.
Okay. Well, both.
unimaginable.
We are in crazy land. It's like we're taking crazy pills.
He should have taken that one instead of the other one. Now you made poor Tim feel bad about him.
I'm sorry, Tim. Now he'll take away a watt or two from the thousands of watts that I have here.
There you go.
Error. Sorry, Tim. You're good. All right. Now, in a scathing, and I mean scathing, solo dissent that was penned by Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, the appointee of former President Joe Biden, accused her conservative colleagues of creating an existential threat to the rule of law by allowing Trump to violate the Constitution. You think? She warned that the executive lawlessness will flourish if lower court judges are now required to let a president act unlawfully. Jackson wrote, eventually, executive power will become completely uncontainable, and our beloved constitutional republic will be no more. She continued, perhaps the degradation of our rule of law regime would happen anyways. But this court's complicity in the creation of a culture of disdain for lower courts, their rulings, and the law, as they interpret it, will surely hasten the downfall of our governing institutions, enabling our collective demise. I don't think she minced words there.
No, she's good. She shoots from the hip. And she means what she says.
Okay, folks, listen. Elections have consequences here. The reason that we have a conservative Supreme Court like we do is because that 45, now 47, was voted into office. He was able to, along with the Republicans in the House and Senate, able to get through conservative judges. That's the reason why we are in the mess that we are in today. The decisions, though, here made today are going to backfire. I guarantee you, the lawyers and the judges are already in their offices, on their computers, finding ways around this. My question to my conservative friends out there is this. Again, when a Democratic president gets elected, would you want them to have the same power of the pen as 47 does? Then the answer is no. And that this day is going to come back to haunt you. Don't you get it? Your comments, Reverend Jeff.
Well, it's gonna come back and get him. I did happen to see, and I'm trying to pull it up again so I can share it with everybody. Was an opinion piece from USA Today saying that Justice Jackson's dissent wasn't heroic, but it exposes a big problem with the Supreme Court. And I'm having issues bringing it up. The fact remains, though, that the Republicans allowed the court to be stacked against Democrats. This after 8 years of Mitch McConnell blocking everything that President Obama tried to do.
Yes.
So, up to and including putting a couple of judges on the court.
That shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Yeah. And so now they've got things where they want them. and they seem to be letting 47 just do whatever he wants to do. And the thing of it is, have you noticed that he's not doing any real presidential governing? What presidents are supposed to do is they are supposed to propose legislation and give it to Congress in order to write the legislation and work out all the details for him to sign. Instead, what he's doing is everything is by executive order. And as soon as a new president gets in there, all he's got to do with the swipe of his pen is wipe out every executive order that Donald Trump had put into place. He would be smart to go through Congress and set these up as laws the way it's meant to be. It would be a whole lot harder to overturn some of this stuff.
Yeah, I think he knows his days are numbered here.
Well, one can hope that he knows that.
All right, so
he does. I think he seriously plans to, or at least thinks he can, live forever and do this thing until he's a little old despot on his little throne.
So Tim writes, he says, guys, please explain to the viewers what flooding the zone means on news media, a never-ending barrage of crazy events. And again, I think that's pretty self-explanatory what's going on here, is that we are getting bombarded with all of this news all the time. We don't know when the next shoe is going to drop.
Yeah.
Especially, again, with all of these, do you know where the terrorists stand with China? Again, we don't know.
No, we don't. We know that his trade war is back on with Canada, and he's planning to do stuff with that. Here's the thing, though. He gives us so much crazy every day. People get sick of hearing it, and people are turning off the news. They don't want to hear it anymore. Right. That's when he pounces and does the really stupid shit.
And so
we got to go back and try to clean up.
And again, that's the reason why, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that's the reason why that we have to take back our power here. Not only through, again, our prayer work, which is extremely powerful, but also through action, getting people out to the polls and voting. We need to vote these individuals out of Congress. Get them gone. Again, I think that some of the Democratic members of the House are proposing impeachment. It's not going to work, folks.
No,
don't try that now. It's not going to get past the House or the Senate. Maybe down the road, but not today. Today, we need to stand up to this lunacy that is going on. But wait, there's more.
Ooh. Yeah.
You saw this already?
Yep, that's what I was waiting for.
The Supreme Court says that school policy barring opt-outs for LGBTQ books violates religious rights. I'll stop there. If you don't like these books, then get your kids out of school, homeschool them, or put them in a Christian school. Anyhow, the article goes on to say the Supreme Court on Friday backed a group of religious parents who want to opt their elementary school children out of engaging with LGBTQ books in the classroom, another major legal win for religious interest at the conservative High Court. The latest decision blurring the lines that once clearly separated secular education from religious belief. The court says that a suburban school district in Washington, D.C., I think it was in Delaware, I'm not sure, or Baltimore, burden parents' First Amendment rights by refusing to allow them to pull their children from the classroom when the books are used. Now, your good friend, Justice Samuel Alito, your good friend, wrote the opinion for the 6-3 conservative majority. He says that the board's introduction of the LGBTQ plus inclusive storybooks, along with its decision to withhold opt-outs, places an unconstitutional burden on parents' rights to the free exercise of their religion. Alito also wrote for the majority, the parents, therefore, shown that they are likely to succeed in their free exercise claims. Now, as Alito was reading this aloud, the opinion that backed this group, Justice Elena Kagan, a senior liberal judge on the High Court, she shook her head. And when Judge Sotomayor also read her dissent, Alito, in turn, appeared to chuckle as she questioned whether the ruling would undermine the country's public school system.
Doesn't matter. The country's public school system's already been compromised. It's already been undermined. I don't know how it is in some of these other states. Here in Tennessee, they're allowing charter schools and private schools vouchers, so that kids can go to these other schools. Number one, they're drawing kids away from the public schools. They're also drawing funding away from the public schools and sending them to these private schools. So, and then you've got Madam Atomic Drop, or whatever her name is, that's running the Department of Education now, who doesn't know her. I won't say what I'm going to say, but my mother would not be happy with that. But she doesn't know it from a hole in the ground.
Well, it's WWE
WWE
co-founder Linda McMahon.
Yeah, she's Department of Education's already shot to shit, so we might as well just.
Folks, again, we're getting to the end of Pride Month here. We need to speak up and speak out and continue to do so. And to continue to allow educators to use this kind of material in their classrooms so that they can teach inclusion, that everyone matters, and that people have choice, but not according to some of these religious individuals who, again, who go ahead and stomp on other people's rights in this country. So again, this is the reason why we must, again, now I'm not called to, I don't think Jeff is either, to get involved with your school board and to go ahead and to put individuals in the school board that have some common sense here. So your comment.
Yeah. No, this is more my son's bailiwick because he's a public school teacher. We're compromised when it comes to education in this country. Parents used to send their children to school to get educated. Now they send them to school as extensions of themselves to push their religious agenda. And they do that by saying it's against my religion for you to teach my child this, that, or the other. First, it was evolution. And then now the next thing you know, it's everything else under the sun. Here's the thing. What do they think that they're protecting their children from? You can send your kid to school and say, oh, I don't want my child to hear bad language. Well, guess what? That kid's going to hear it anyway, because there's going to be some other kid in the class who's going to want to say nasty little words. So you could try to protect little Johnny and little Susie as much as you want. You're not really doing them much of a service, because they're going to still come home and say, Mommy, what does mean? You know? And then when you pick your little self up off the floor,
Yeah.
you know, you're going to have to explain to your kid what that is, you know, because they're going to hear it. They're going to meet gay people out there.
Are you kidding?
Eventually you're going to. Not every teacher in that school is going to be straight. I guarantee you that. Here's the other thing. You can take all the books out of the school that you want to talk about two moms or two dads or whatever. I'll guarantee you that child has got at least two classmates who have same-sex parents.
Or more. Well, ladies and gentlemen, after our overdue break, we will have, again, the award-winning and ever popular here on the New Thought Media Network. Not that.
Now here's Reverend Jeff Radcliffe with the story of the week.
Why don't you just cause me a heart attack?
No.
I can be done with it.
No.
They got stuff out there with no warning.
I'm sorry.
I'm checking my pulse even as we speak.
Okay, so we're going to let Reverend Jeff breathe. And tell everyone, hi, good evening. This is the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. Some quick announcements. We will place a few commercials, and then we will be right back. All right, so this Sunday at Summit CSL, my home center here, we invite you to come. It's a lot of fun. There you will find information about our wonderful Sunday gathering at summitcsl.org. The times are at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific time. Grab your cup of coffee or whatever you're drinking on Sunday morning. Please join us. I do believe that we have a wonderful service in New Thought. And this Sunday, we will have a discussion, being the fifth Sunday, on what it means to be free with our spiritual director, Diana Mangus. So go to summitcsl.org for more information on how to join our Zoom call. And you are invited. We'd love to see you. Okay. Let us take an overdue break, and then we will be right back. This is the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
And for my friend Tim, who's watching this evening, I am the only show on this network that is required by our legal department to have that kind of disclaimer. Is it because that I have you on my show, Jeff?
I'm not far behind you on that. Plus, you're going to put something in there about profanity, so.
Oh, they are.
I'll one up you with that one. So.
Oh, well, okay. I'm going to play your jingle.
Oh, wait! Before you do that, talking about profanity, did
Okay.
you check out my new hydration device?
Yeah,
and it comes inscribed with my name on it,
Reverend Potty Mouth. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. All right, play my jingle.
Play the jingle.
Reverend Jeff, story of the week. Just doesn't not that I can see. But said to tell me what to see. When W7 and on stacks K. Reverend Jeff, story of the week. Just doesn't not that I can see. But said to tell me what to see. When W7 and on stacks K. Reverend Jeff, story.
Right. I love it. I love that.
Oh, yes.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. Is Tom Daniels of Tom Daniels Voice at gmail.com, is he going to start charging me residuals on that?
You have to ask him. I don't know.
All right. It is time for Tim Davison's favorite portion of the program. He even said yay. Ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Jeff's story of the week.
Oh, Tim is such a sweetheart. He needs to get a life, though. This is your favorite. I mean, thank you, sir. Talking about freedom on Sunday at Summit. And that's cool because what we're talking about is also freedom. Tomorrow is the 56th anniversary of the Stonewall riots, a series of violent confrontations that began in the early hours of June 28, 1969, between police and gay rights activists outside the Stonewall Inn, which was a mafia-owned and operated gay bar in the Greenwich Village section of New York City. This was about freedom, pure and simple. These were folks who it was legislated against them that they were not allowed to engage in any kind of behavior that was considered out of the norm, which would have been everything from meeting potential dates and partners to dancing in public. So the cops were in the habit of regularly raiding gay bars to shake them down for money, and it's been rumored they were shaking them down for physical favors as well. This was a night, though, the cops came in to raid the place, wanted to take some money, do whatever, and the patrons fought back. there has been, for the past 50 years, a regular idea, not an idea, maybe that's not a canon, I guess, of what took place that night. But the truth of the matter is, nobody really knows for sure exactly what set this off. But there are two names that come to mind whenever you think about the riots, and they both are people of color. Marsha P. Johnson was a black drag queen, and it was said that Marsha threw a brick at the cops, and that started the riot. Other people said no, they were there, and they saw her hit one of the policemen with her purse. And there were other people that said no, we were there, we were inside the bar, the cops came in, and she threw a shot glass at the mirror behind the bar and shattered it, saying, "I want my civil rights." Three different stories from people who said that they were there. None of them actually hold water. Nobody knows for sure exactly what happened. The other name that comes to mind was a Hispanic drag queen by the name of Sylvia Rivera. Sylvia was, her father was from Puerto Rico, her mother was from Venezuela. She was born in New York City, though. She was also rumored to be there at the beginning of the riot, and she was the one who started it, they said. Some people say that. Later on, Sylvia says, "No, I wasn't there at the beginning. I was uptown doing something else. It took me a while to get downtown to where the action was going on." But for I think it was 4 or 5 nights, they rioted over this. This was not a single night event. Stonewall took place over almost a week. Sylvia was there on the front lines, egging people on. She was instrumental in keeping this going. Mark Siegel, as another gentleman who was actually there, he was also the co-founder of the Gay Liberation Front, which came about after the riots. And he said that he met so many people who claimed that they were there at the time that he would ask them, "Well, if you were there, what did we do in Sheridan Square?" Sheridan Square, when the crowd got there, somebody actually put a feather boa on the statue of General Sheridan. And that was his litmus test, because if they knew that, then yeah, they were actually there. Otherwise, he knew that they were talking out their ass.
That's pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So on the first anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising was the very next year. And they didn't call it the Stonewall Rising. They didn't call it Gay Pride at the time. What it was called was the Christopher Street Liberation Day. And we've been doing it for the past over 50 years. Now, and here's the thing. Go ahead and show the last picture, Michael. This is what Stonewall Inn looks like now. This actually, I found an older picture from the 1920s that showed the buildings on either side of it. This building is flanked by 2, 4, 5, 6-story tall buildings. This building is only 2 stories tall, so it's a tiny little building. And back in the and it was built in the 1800s. Built in the late 1800s. In the early 1900s, it was a French bakery, believe it or not. And then it changed hands numerous times, became a local watering hole, and now it's still a gay bar. They still have events and commemorations, but it's also a museum to all the people who gave of themselves to say to the police, enough is enough. Unfortunately, now there's talk that that the Supreme Court is maybe going to overturn the ruling that gave us gay marriage, which, by the way, was 10 years ago yesterday. I think it was yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah. So, now there's talk that they're going to talk about overturning that. So Stonewall started the movement. Unfortunately, they didn't get the job done. We need to return to the principles that drove them to stand up for themselves, because it seems like these days too many people are just willing to let the Supreme Court or the president just bulldoze them, roll right over them. We can't have that.
Absolutely. And they violated the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not piss off drag queens.
That's right. They will read your beads and then they will strangle you with them.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I thought that for Pride Month, that was a wonderful, wonderful story. That's Reverend Jeff's story of the week. We have time for one more. And Jeff, I picked this story out just for you.
Okay. Oh, Lord, him again.
Oh, my. Breaking another presidential norm. Trump drops the F-bomb on camera. Now, I wonder if Pam Bondi gave permission for him to do that. Like we have to give you permission here at the New Thought Media Network.
No, you got that all wrong. I just drop them when I want. And you give me permission retroactively.
Okay.
Yeah.
So President Trump on Tuesday emphatically, which means he did it with emotion, dropped an F-bomb on camera, expressing frustration that Israel and Iran appeared to be violating the ceasefire that he just celebrated going into effect. So there's differing stories about that there wasn't a ceasefire. And then he comes out and says, oh, there's a ceasefire. Anyhow, after lashing out at the two countries, Trump said that the ceasefire is in effect. We basically have countries that have been fighting for so long and so hard that they don't know what the F they are doing, Trump said to reporters as he left the White House. More than any other president, number 47 has been known to use coarse language in speeches and other public appearances. You think? Yeah. But for him, this on-camera utterance of the F word was new. American presidents have typically refrained from using it publicly, even when angered or frustrated. Now, when you and I were in the biz, when we were in broadcasting on the radio, we were read the Riot Act about using the 7 dirty words. And that we were told not to do it or else. And the or else was a fine from the Federal Communications Commission. Not only to the presenter, but also to the station. Now, why doesn't the FCC fine him? Oh, because I'm sorry.
The rules are relaxed. Yeah. The rules were relaxed way before that, because you're talking to the first guy who did radio in my hometown back in West Virginia to drop an F-bomb on the air and not get in trouble for it. And what was funny, after I said I was talking about the traffic in town, and I went into a commercial break. My boss comes and he's standing there in the door of the air studio. He goes,
Yeah.
"You having a bad day?" And I'm like, "No." He said, "Do you know what you just said?" And I said, "No, what did I say?" He goes, "You just said go on the air." And I said, "No, I didn't." He goes, "Oh, yes, you did." But you know what? Nobody called in to complain. That was when I knew that this whole FCC going to come down on you with a $10,000 fine had about as much teeth to it as what we were told in school to behave ourselves, or it would go on your permanent record.
That's right.
Yeah, well.
So
take it from Reverend Potty Mouth.
Yes.
Dropped the bomb on the air.
Yeah. So
Fine.
Russell Riley, who's a presidential historian at the Miller Center at the prestigious University of Virginia, said that politics is sometimes a dirty and ugly business. And so people use language there that might be better preserved in the locker room. But in no instance do I recall a president openly using this term in a public forum.
Did you also catch the nuance of behind this as well? Because you know that Trump always projects onto other people what he himself is guilty of. And what did he say? They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Right.
Hello, Mr. President, you don't either, okay? So just knock your crap off. But here's the thing. Even though we look at him and see his feet of clay, just like we still have to see that part of him that is spirit. It's hidden way under there somewhere, but he's also a child of God, if you want to call it that. And we may not like him. Nothing says we have to like him, but we at least have to show some sort of love and charity toward him, because that's what we're called to do.
Yeah, I know. And there's been
we just have to do it.
And there's been a handful of instances of cursing caught on a hot mic by presidents, especially when the official didn't know that they were being recorded. But this F-bomb was deliberate.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he knew exactly what he was doing.
So in past cases, some presidents have felt compelled to show contrition when they curse on the air and when it made headlines. But Riley says that's unlikely to happen with Trump. You think?
Yeah, this is the man who just bulldozed the Rose Garden with impunity. You think he's going to apologize over dropping an F-bomb?
Yeah. What about his two beautiful flagpoles, though, too? I know you want to say something.
Yes. Don't tempt me. He's just compensating.
But again, Dr. Riley says it's unlikely to happen with Trump, known and loved by his supporters for his plain spoken way. Dr. Riley said the question is whether you brazen it out or you apologize. And I'm sure in this case, the president will just brazen it out. And it's no big secret here on the New Thought Media Network that Reverend Jeff Radcliff is known to be Reverend Potty Mouth as on his mug.
But I am proud to say that Forrest Gump's mother never said anything about me the way she did President Trump when she said, "Trashy is as trashy does."
Did she actually say that?
It's in the movie. Watch it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Tim had a few more things to say. He says, I love truth tellers and fairness, kindness, fully realizing that the mega wealthy have a ton of influence. Man. But I hope enough everyday citizens will wake up and demand for the end of this. Absolutely, Tim.
From your lips to God's ears, Tim.
Absolutely. And please wake up, fellow citizens. Absolutely, Tim. And demand fairness, obeying the law, kindness, and compromise, and end this absurd craziness.
Hey, we got to go. Brzezinski's getting antsy.
Yeah, I know. Folks, again, the reason we bring this up is because, again, we want you to be aware of what's going on here. This is crazy town. I get that. But in the midst of it, you don't have to go crazy here. So that's why myself and Jeff and other spiritual leaders are saying we continue with our spiritual practice. We continue to pray for the president, and that's scriptural. That's from the New Testament. We continue also to raise our voices in the seeming dark of the night and to say, listen, there is a better way of doing this than what is going on. Your final comments, Reverend Jeff.
Just remember, I'm a divine scientist. Like it or not, God is all there is. You may not like the way it's showing up, but what you're looking at is spirit in expression.
And thank you,
Absolutely,
Reverend Jeff Radcliff. Really appreciate you. And again, come back next week. Next week. A programming note. It's the 4th of July. So Reverend Jeff will be he'll be in his backyard grilling.
Actually, I will be working because we plan on doing our Divine Science Everywhere show at 4 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
2 p.m. Mountain. After that, I will be in the backyard grilling.
Well, I don't plan on. It's the one day out of the year that Brzezinski lets me off. So I'm taking it off.
Okay.
Next week we'll have a best of, though.
Yeah. That sounds good.
All right.
But if you're looking for something brand new in the afternoon, hey, look for me. Divine Science Everywhere, right here on your New Thought Media
Network. Thank you, Jeff. And yes, we're all out of time. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. May you have a happy 4th. We'll be back the week after with another fun-filled, thrill-packed, and always exciting edition of the Friday Evening Fireside Chat. Don't let these people on the news and in the news discourage you. That's what Tim was saying earlier about this fire hose effect. We must stand in our own power here and say enough is enough. And as we do so, other people have the courage to stand up and to say and to do the same. All right? All right, time for me to go again. Thank you so very much. If you could, throw us a few dollars. We would really appreciate it at ntmedia.org/donate. And again, it's the summer months, and we would really appreciate, we have some things coming up here in the fall that we would appreciate your funding for. Again, ntmedia.org/donate. On behalf of all of us here at your New Thought Media Network, I'm Reverend Michael. I'm going to wish you a very pleasant good night and also have a wonderful week.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.